Hey there, girly. It's Coach Kristen here. Today we are going to talk about infection control, but these are going to be just our main vocabulary words with infection control, and these are also going to be some of the words that you may run across whenever it comes to our written portion of our eyelash extension exam. So we're going to go through this vocabulary, and then we also are going to have another module diving deeper on infection control and all of the steps and everything that comes along with some of the vocabulary terms that we are going to learn today. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. So we are going to start off with cleaning. So cleaning is a mechanical process using soap and water or detergent and water to remove all visible dirt, debris, and many diseases causing germs. So hopefully you know what the meaning of cleaning is and what cleaning is. If not, get comfortable with it because you are required to do a lot of cleaning whenever it comes to being a lash artist, okay? Now let's cover sanitizing. So sanitizing is a chemical process for reducing the number of disease-causing germs on clean surfaces to a safe level. Infection control professionals consider sanitation to be a layperson's term or product marketing as in hand sanitizer, preferring cleaning to describe the step before disinfecting. So remember, there is a difference between cleaning, sanitizing, disinfecting. We're going to learn all of that right now. Disinfecting. Disinfecting is a chemical process for use on a non-porous items that uses specific products to destroy harmful organisms, including bacteria, viruses, and fungi, except bacterial spores, on implements and environmental surfaces. Okay, so disinfecting is destroying harmful organisms, including bacteria, viruses, and fungi on implements and environmental surfaces. The only thing disinfecting does not cover is bacterial spores. Okay, sterilizing is the process that destroys all microbial life, including spores, generally with the use of an autoclave. Okay, the autoclave is our heat sanitizer, our UV sanitizer that you can use to clean off your lash tweezers with, all of your lash tools, okay? Alrighty, OSHA. So OSHA is the Occupational Safety and Health Administration, and OSHA was created as part of the U.S. Department of Labor to regulate and enforce safety and health standards in the workplace. OSHA standards address issues relating to the handling, mixing, storing, and disposing of products, general safety in the workplace, and your right to know about any potentially hazardous ingredients contained in the products and how to avoid hazards. So make sure you understand OSHA and what OSHA is. Then we have EPA, or the Environmental Protection Agency. So EPA registers all types of disinfectants sold and used in the United States. Disinfectants are chemical products that destroy most bacteria, fungi, and viruses on surfaces. So your EPA is what we use to clean off surfaces, wipe down our bed, things like that. And you're also going to have to make sure that we label correctly our EPA disinfectant whenever it comes to our practical exam with our lash extensions, okay? So moving along, laws and rules. So laws are written by both federal and state legislature to determine the scope of practice, meaning what each license allows you, the licensee holder, to do, and establishes guidelines for regulatory agencies to make rules. Laws are also called statutes. So whenever you're reading through your book, you may see laws and then you may see statute. Statute means the same thing as laws, okay? So just make sure and understand that. And rules and regulations are more specific than laws. The regulatory agency or the state board writes the rules and determines how the law must be applied. Rules establish specific standard of conduct and can be changed or updated frequently, which is why it is your professional responsibility to be aware of any changes. So most of the time, whenever you come in, whenever you come into HM Lash University, you're going to get enrolled and get your school permit and your student number. So you're also going to get enrolled into TDLR system, which is going to send you emails about updates, and they send about all kinds of stuff. So sometimes it's not rules regarding to lash extension artists specifically. It may be rules that they're changing about barber or hairstylists or estheticians, but they do change the rules a lot and quite frequently. So make sure that you are paying attention to those rules that are being changed, especially if it has anything to do with your workplace. Because if a rule changes and then you have someone from state board come in to inspect your space or anything like that, and you're not updated with the rules, then you can get fined. Okay, so just make sure and pay attention. Like I said, most of the time it's usually not for lash extension artists, but just make sure and pay attention. It is your responsibility as a licensed Texas lash artist. Okay, moving along. So let's cover disease. So disease is an abnormal condition of a part of the body or its systems or organs that make the body incapable of carrying on normal function. Direct transmission. Direct transmission involves transmission of pathogens through kissing, coughing, sneezing, and talking. However, there is also indirect transmission, which happens through contact with an intermediate contaminated object, such as an extractor, razor, nipper, or an environmental surface upon which the pathogen resides. So make sure you know the difference between direct transmission and indirect transmission. Then we have airborne transmission. So respiratory droplets are similar in that transmission happens when a pathogen living in our respiratory tract is expelled through coughing, sneezing, and even talking. The difference between the two is that respiratory droplets are large particles that do not stay suspended in the air for long. So this is why it's important as a lash artist to make sure and wear a face mask. That way you actually aren't going to breathe in any of the air that your client can be if your client is talking. Most of the time, this is why we don't prefer talking. You as an artist or your client as a client, it's best if neither one of y'all are talking, especially because whenever we are performing our service, we are kind of face on face, like your face is right on top of your client's face. So it is easier that if your client is, maybe catching a cold or getting sick and you don't have a face mask on and y'all are talking, just exchanging the air, and then you get sick. This is exactly what airborne transmission means. Okay, so there's direct transmission, indirect transmission, and airborne transmission. Okay, so make sure and understand the difference between the three. Alrighty, and then we have infectious disease. So infectious disease is disease caused by pathogenic, which is harmful microorganisms. So remember, there's pathogenic and non-pathogenic, which pathogenic is harmful microorganisms and non-pathogenic is not harmful, okay? But pathogenic is harmful microorganisms that enter the body, and an infectious disease may or not be spread from one person to another. Then we have bacterial spores. Bacterial spores are bacteria capable of producing a protective coating that allows them to withstand very harsh environments and to shed the coating when conditions become more favorable to them. Cleaning and disinfecting procedures are designed to prevent the spread of infection and disease. At a minimum, disinfectants used in salons and spas and barbershops must be bactericidal, which is capable of destroying bacteria, verucocidal, which is capable of destroying viruses, and fungicidal, which is capable of destroying molds and fungi. Okay, so make sure and understand bacterial spores. When disease is capable of being spread from one person to another, it is said to be a contagious disease, also known as a communicable disease. Bacteria are single-cell microorganisms that have both plant and animal characteristics. And microorganisms is any organism of microscopic or submicroscopic size. Some bacteria are harmful while others are harmless. Bacteria can exist almost anywhere. So like I said, make sure to know the difference between non-pathogenic and pathogenic, your microorganisms, your bacteria, and everything in between, because it is all different. Most bacteria are non-pathogenic, meaning they are harmless organisms that may perform useful functions and they are safe to come in contact with, since they do not cause disease or harm. However, pathogenic bacteria are harmful microorganisms that can cause disease or infection in humans when they invade the body, which is why salons and spas must maintain strict standards of cleaning and disinfecting at all times to prevent the spread of pathogenic microorganisms. So we cover this, we talk about cleaning everything, especially after and in between clients, taking home blankets every day, taking out the trash, wiping down your areas that your clients can be coming in, cleaning up your room, everything like that. But also cleaning, disinfecting, and doing everything correctly is super, super important, okay? So inflammation. Inflammation is a condition in which the tissue of the body reacts to injury, irritation, or infection. Inflammation is characterized by redness, heat, pain, and swelling. Pus is a fluid containing white blood cells, bacteria, and dead cells, and is the byproduct of the infectious process. A systemic infection. A systemic infection is an infection where the pathogens has spread throughout the body rather than staying in one area or organ. So systemic is like system, it's going to as a system whole. Okay, then we have staphylococci. Staphylococci are among the most common bacteria that affect humans and are routinely found in our environment, including on our bodies. Although most stains do not make us ill, staph is responsible for food poisoning and a wide range of disease, including toxic shock syndrome and some flesh-eating disorders. Some types of infectious staph bacteria are highly resistant to conventional treatments such as antibiotics, which is why you should always make sure and wash your hands after using the restroom, especially because we are going to be touching our client. So please make sure and keep your hygiene up, okay? An example is the staph infection called, I'm not even going to butcher this word, we're just going to call it MRSA, okay? Which is our, what do you call it? Acronym for the whole word, okay? But you know what MRSA is. If you don't look it up on Google, okay? The pictures are not nice. But MRSA is, occurred most frequently among people with weakened immune systems or who have undergone medical procedures. And today it has become more common in otherwise healthy people. So clients who appear completely healthy may bring this organism into the salon with them where it can infect others. MRSA initially appears as a skin infection, resulting in pimples, rashes, or boils that can be difficult to cure. Without proper treatment, the infection becomes systemic and can have devastating consequences, even resulting in death. So MRSA is very, very serious. Usually this happens like in communal restrooms and like where everyone's taking a shower and things like that. But yes, so like I said, without proper treatment, the infection becomes systemic, which means this is going to shut down the whole body, which can result in death. So super important to know what MRSA is and how to keep everything top tier and clean in your room, okay? Alrighty. Mycobacterium is the name for a large family of bacteria that is often found in soil and water. So make sure and understand what mycobacterium is. It's a shorter term for that word, okay? Then we have virus. Virus is a submicroscopic particle that infects and resides in the cells of a biological organism. A virus is capable of replication only through taking over the host cell's reproductive function. Then we have blood-borne pathogens, which is disease-causing microorganisms carried in the body by blood or body fluids such as hepatitis and HIV. We also have fungi. Fungi are single-celled organisms that grow irregular masses that include molds, mildew, and yeasts. Okay, then we have parasites. Parasites are organisms that grow, feed, and shelter on or inside another organism while contributing nothing to the survival of that organism. Parasites must have a host to survive. Biofilms are colonies of microorganisms that adhere to environmental surfaces as well as the human body. Then we have quaternary ammonium. Compounds, also known as quats, are disinfectants that are very effective when used properly on non-porous surfaces. Tuberculocidal disinfectants, often referred to as phenolics, are proven to kill the bacterium that causes tuberculosis in addition to other pathogens destroyed through the use of hospital disinfectants. So make sure and know the difference between these. And our household bleach, which is 5.25% sodium hypochlorite, is an effective disinfectant that has been extensively used in salons and spas. Exposure incident. Okay, so what happens when you have an exposure incident? Contact with non-intact broken skin, blood, body fluid, or other potentially infectious materials, which is the result of the performance of an employee's duties. Be sure to know the proper steps when performing an exposure incident. And again, like I said, this is going to go into our next module where we're actually going to dive in deeper on all of our exposure incidents. Not our exposure incidents. We're going to dive deeper on infection control, and we're going to learn how to handle an exposure incident. And this is important because this is what you're going to test over whenever it comes to doing our practical for our eyelash extension exams. Okay, so if you have any questions on anything, please send me an email or hop on the Wednesday coaching call and I will help you out there. Until then, I will see you on the next module.